There is so much new anime this season, and I have some feelings about it. Now, not only do we have some really big names returning, like Attack on Titan final season, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, Dr. Stone, quintessential quintuplets, The Promised Neverland, which, if you watch the first season of that one, brace yourself. But there's also a bunch of new anime for you to start. Wanna know what they're like? Well, I'm Lauren from Funimation, and I've watched through a bunch of the first episodes, and I'm here to give you some thoughts. There's over 30 new anime this season on Funimation, and while I can't cover all of them in this video, I will be covering the newcomers. So let's get to it. First up, I want to talk about a mysterious anime that so far, I'm really excited about this season. It's called Other Side Picnic. And literally within the first 2 minutes of starting this episode, I was like, oh, hell yeah. So this anime has an isekai element, but doesn't feel like your typical isekai at all. It has a much more mystical, psychological thriller feel. So two girls meet by chance in an alternate world that they've discovered that's filled with strange and dangerous creatures. In episode 1, we see them traveling back and forth between the alternate world and the real world, barely escaping death and just these strange creature attacks. So this is a mysterious, slow burn yuri that, based on the first episode, feels like it hangs somewhere between supernatural and science fiction. Other Side Picnic gives off this kind of similar eerie, atmospheric, and mysterious vibe as Steins Gate, which makes all of this sense because it's actually from the anime team behind Steins Gate. And even if you didn't know that going in, you'd likely pick up on it pretty quickly. This definitely feels very reminiscent of anime from that genre, and even based on episode 1, it just has that certain intangible weight to it. Just swap microwaves for elevators. Next, we need to have a very serious discussion about episode 1 of Wonder Egg Priority because, wow, this episode holds on to tension and does not let go. And don't go making the mistake watching it alone in the dark like I did. Now, right now we're just showing you PV footage, and honestly, that's for the best because I struggled with how to cover this episode without giving it away. So I'll say this. It follows a young girl named Ai who really keeps to herself. And one night, at a deserted arcade, she ends up spinning a gacha and getting something called a Wonder Egg. And this egg changes the course of everything. Almost sounds cute, right? Sure. In the same way that Madoka Magica is cute, if that gives you any sort of impression of what we're dealing with here. Now, when I say the egg changes everything, I mean reality, people, survival, and it seems like it's at the heart of a very sinister cycle. So, if you're into graphic mysteries with a twist, maybe do watch this one alone with the lights off. Next is Skate the Infinity, and our head of editorial, Nick, really wanted to cover this one, so.
What's up, guys? It's Nick. Here are my first impressions of Skate the Infinity.
No, not doing it. So in spite of what you just saw there, Skate the Infinity episode 1 is great. This is like drag racing for skateboarders with a dash of the old SSX snowboarding games thrown in. And it's wonderful. A transfer student from Canada named Langa comes to Japan and through his classmate Reki gets introduced to S, this dangerous, super secret skateboard race where there's like long-standing rivals and you gotta know somebody to get in type beat. Now, while Langa cannot skateboard at all, it turns out that he can snowboard. Honestly, episode 1, loved it, can't wait to see the rest. Let's jump over to another new series this season, Back Arrow. Episode 1, called Do Guys from the Sky Have Undies? I'm just gonna start by saying that if the episode name wasn't a big enough indication, this show is flat out a lot of fun. There's big action, there's mechs, there's sort of an Attack on Titan vibe where there's like a wall that surrounds humanity and literally like wall is love, wall is life. But then there's these things that fall from the sky like gifts from the wall. Okay, sorry. This guy, Back Arrow, shows up claiming to be from outside the wall and all hell breaks loose. Very fun first episode, and I'm excited to see how it all shakes out. Next, let's cover Cells at Work Season 2 and Cells at Work Code Black. Yes, this is technically not a new series, but Code Black also serves as a new spin-off and introduces you to the microscopic heroes of your body. White blood cells, red blood cells, and platelets for anyone who isn't familiar. But these are not the same characters from the main series. So the cool thing is, Code Black is airing alongside your regular season 2, so you can watch both of them in tandem. And actually, I'm pretty glad that they're running alongside one another because Code Black is like the really serious adult stuff happening with the body and honestly much darker than we're used to with this series. But then you can go over and watch season 2 and still learn about the body, but you kind of have your soul patched up by much more wholesome issues. And for those who don't know, season 1 of the main series is now streaming on Funimation as well. And we're actually streaming episodes 2 days before the Japanese broadcast, so definitely go watch both series if you can stomach it. Anyway, if you need me this season, I will be crying and cheering on a small young platelet named Backward Cap. Now, listen, okay? This one. Suppose a kid from the last Dungeon Boonies moved to a starter town. In the first 30 seconds of this episode, I watched a bunny Spartan kick a kid. And I'm not saying that I was sold, but it had my attention. But then, something happened. I felt my icy curmudgeon heart start to melt at how precious this child Lloyd is. So he's a young adventurer in a fantastical world and is the weakest in his village, remember that, so he sets out to get strong. Okay, super cute. But the kicker is, outside of his village, he's actually very strong and talented, but just blissfully unaware, and it is very, very wholesome. Even his reason for wanting to get strong is wholesome. He read about a super cool strong dude in a novel who is a soldier, and so he wants to be a super cool strong dude too and become a soldier. And I mean, fair enough, because he caught a lick from that rabbit in the beginning. Aesthetically, this feels kind of like Monster Hunter Stories Ride On meets Tales of Zestiria. And by first impressions, you might think this is an isekai, but it is not. It's just a precious story about a precious boy trying to be strong. Aren't we all? Next, let's talk about something completely different. Horimiya. Horimiya, like, when I tell you I honestly screamed out loud watching the first episode, I'm not joking. I legitimately had to pause and shriek because of how cute it was. This was literally me after finishing the first episode. It's been a long time since an anime has been this cute for me. Like, finally, a first love anime that gives us more relationship development in one episode, the most anime give us in an entire season. And when the episode ended, I was genuinely so sad that it was over. It's an adorable story about the cool, popular girl who gets really good grades suddenly befriending the gloomy guy in class who keeps to himself because she discovers that outside of school, he's actually like the pierced, tatted up cool guy with the heart of gold. He was a skater boy, she said, see you later, boy. Why did I write this? And as they both become friends, they get to be themselves around each other outside of school and see a side of one another that nobody else gets to see, which is so cute. 10 out of 10. I will continue to scream about this show this season, and I make absolutely no apologies. Up next, what if you could go back to being a toddler but keep all of the knowledge and sense that you have now at this point in time? That's exactly what happens in Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. We have a beautifully animated reincarnation tale where boom, someone gets hit by Bus-kun and begins a new life. This time, as a young toddler in a land where magic exists. So what sets this aside from some of the other reincarnation anime lately is that we don't just see the character alone in a new world trying to navigate it. We actually literally see him being born, having a family, learning about the world with this family in this new environment. And yes, I will confirm that while he looks like a precious, adorable baby, he technically is the soul of an adult and has the thoughts of an adult. But this also means that as he grows into a young boy and starts taking an interest in magic, his abilities are seriously advanced. Cue the introduction of a magic instructor because clearly this kid seems like a genius and these powers must be trained. And new adventures are about to unravel. Finally, last but not least, I shouldn't have put this one last. Given the kind of show it is, I actually feel bad putting it at the end of my list. but totally unintentional, we have bottom tier character Tomazaki. This is the Gamer Glow Up anime. Episode 1 introduces us to a super skilled fighting game player, Tomazaki Fumiya, who struggles with socializing in the real world and feels frustrated with his character stats as a person. But when the cool, popular girl, Hinami Aoi, turns out to be another high-ranked player he respects, let's just say a verbal confrontation ends in the two pairing up to help boost Tomazaki's real-life character stats and make him more confident in the aspects of himself that he's frustrated with. There's comedy, some heartfelt moments, and some very, very honest conversations. Episode 1 is pretty harsh on Tomazaki, and while he wants to change and there's always things that we can do to improve ourselves, I found myself really wanting him to eventually appreciate and be confident in some of the qualities he already has. But he and Hinami are similar in a lot of ways, so she builds out real-world tasks for him to tackle as though it's a game. Basically, gamifying the glow up as motivation, and I can respect that. Will he find friendship, a girlfriend, some real-life combos for confidence? Well, we'll see. And that's just about everything that I have time to cover, but shout out to Scar on the Praetor because I haven't actually gotten to watch that one yet, but our community manager really wanted me to mention it. So, what new anime are you starting this season? Let me know in the comments. You know I love talking with you all. There's still also a ton of other new anime to check out this season, like Kemono Jihen or Skate Leading Stars, which is actually simulcasting on Funimation ahead of the Japanese broadcast. As always, you can find all of these and tons more streaming on Funimation. Be sure to like and subscribe to us everywhere for more anime videos like this. I'm Lauren, and I'll see you next time.
The data stream is open.